Hello everyone, welcome to the Tech and Auto Show. I'm your host Manav Sinha and it is so good to see all of you lovely people once again. In case you're new here, well, welcome. This is that one show which satisfies your hunger for both technology as well as automobiles at one place, which basically means why should you be watching two shows when you can watch one? This one. Now just like every time, there's a lot of action that we have to cover. So let's get to the action right away by first showing you a glimpse of what you can expect over the course of the next half an hour. This week, we'll be taking a look at the Microsoft Surface Go. Then we will be taking you for a drive in the 2021 Jeep Compass SUV. And we'll talk about urban air mobility, which basically means hiring a chopper for your daily commutes. So yes, we will be talking about all of that. And yes, for the keen-eyed amongst you, this is the all-new Bmw M340i. It will be coming to India very soon. We are driving it and we will bring you the review of this car very soon. However, now it is time to talk about the world of technology. Now in that world, Microsoft Surface laptops have carved a niche for themselves for being really good business laptops. However, they are a little bit expensive. But Microsoft now wants to change that as they've come out with the Microsoft Surface Go. But are they cutting any corners? Well, Shavik is finding that out.
When we talk about budget Windows laptops, we don't think about a laptop which looks like this. This compact, this good looking, this sleek, and overall a very appealing package. That's exactly what Microsoft has done and has attempted to appeal to budget laptop buyers with the Microsoft Surface Laptop Go. Costs up to 91,900, which is definitely not budget laptop territory in India. So does Microsoft still hit the right chords with the Surface Laptop Go, or does it compromise too much for its price, or is it too pricey for what it offers, in other words? Let's find out in our review of the Microsoft Surface Laptop Go. When it comes to the overall design, the Microsoft Surface Laptop Go looks really sleek. It is very compact, it is very easy to fit into any backpack or sling bag or side bag that you're carrying, and it is a very convenient device to use. Opening the laptop is very hassle-free, although I wish there was a slight notch in opening the laptop. It does get the job done, but there are a few quirks about this charging port in the sense that you might struggle to fit it a little, and even if you are managing to fit it on a tight kind of a reach, it does tend to get disconnected pretty easily. That is something that Surface needs to fix, Microsoft needs to fix with its Surface lineup. But on other terms, in terms of build, design, and the overall look and feel and ergonomics of the laptop, this is as good as you can expect a budget laptop to be. In terms of the overall performance, the Microsoft Surface Laptop Go does make multiple noticeable compromises, and this is where things become tricky for this laptop. You see, the Surface Laptop Go's entry-level variant, which costs about 64,000 rupees in India, has just 4 GB of RAM and 64 GB of eMMC storage. That is extremely limiting, especially considering that for that price you would get much better performing laptops with a full-fledged Core i3 or i5 new generation processor, 8 GB RAM and higher storage variants in India itself. In terms of overall everyday performance, the laptop is super smooth. But the big limiting factor over here, beyond the fact that it does not come with a backlit keyboard, more on that later, is that it runs on Windows 10s, which is, as we know, the cut version of the full Windows 10 experience. Now, of course, you can unlock Windows 10 full version for free once if you upgrade from Windows 10s, but you can't revert back to the S. And this laptop was specifically designed keeping the budget laptop user in mind, keeping in mind users who would want to stay within the Microsoft ecosystem of apps. The big limitation in Windows 10s being that you can't download apps from external sources but only from the Microsoft Store. So that is a big limitation, and once you upgrade to Windows 10 full variant from Windows 10s, you can't come back to it. Apart from that, the lack of a backlit keyboard does hinder usage of the laptop, especially at night. And given that you're paying 93,000 rupees for it, which is close to 1 lakh, it is a little confusing as to why you would want to buy a laptop that doesn't have a feature as basic as a backlit keyboard. Apart from that, the touchscreen performance is quite smooth, even though the resolution of the screen is a slightly lower version and not entirely full HD. It still does its job pretty well. Videos look fine enough thanks to a nice color balance on the display, and touch response on the laptop is quite great. So to conclude, should you buy the Microsoft Surface Laptop Go? Well, the question has multiple answers. First, if you want a laptop that looks and feels a certain way and has a very high value in terms of aesthetics, the Surface Laptop Go is a very good option to consider. However, do keep in mind that you will be paying a premium just for that aesthetic and the Surface tag, even in a laptop that sits in the Go division of Microsoft's Surface hardware. In terms of performance, while the top variant does offer decent enough though in terms of how the laptop would work, the basic variant just doesn't cut it, and it just doesn't make sense to buy a laptop with 64GB storage, that too at a price of around 65,000. At around 92,000 also, there are multiple gaming laptops which would make more sense if you are looking at a core performance laptop. However, that's not what Microsoft has targeted with its Go line of Surface laptops. So if you want a sleek laptop that is good enough for everyday work, and that the Surface Laptop Go is, you can consider the Surface Laptop Go as an option if you want to stay within the Windows ecosystem.
Now let's move on to the world of automobiles, and in that world, Jeep has been really active lately. Recently they announced that they will be locally manufacturing the Wrangler SUV in India, which means soon there will be a price cut for the new 2021 model. However, they have also recently come out with the 2021 version of the Jeep Compass. I took it for a drive, and here's how that went. Now, when you think of Jeep, you think of the Compass. And when you think of the Compass, chances are that you're thinking on the lines of it being a butch, brawny SUV with incredible off-road credentials, albeit a little bit expensive. And you won't be wrong. Well, that was what was our verdict for the older Jeep Compass. The reason why I call it older is because now there is a new Jeep Compass in town. This is a 2021 model. It's got itself a facelift, and it's clear what Jeep is trying to do. They're trying to add the premium word in your chain of thoughts, which as a result will justify the price tag. Have they achieved it? Well, let's take a closer look. Now let's start with the changes that the Compass has got, and let's start from the outside. First and foremost is the new face that it has got. It now has a darker theme running across it. It now has slimmer, updated LED headlamps, and that along with the new bumper makes the car look a lot more bolder and sportier than before. Other than that, you get new wheels on the sides, and that's about all the changes there are on the outside. But now let's get to the big change. And the big change is once you're inside the 2021 Jeep Compass. How big of a change? Well, everything has changed. This is a brand new dash that the Compass has got. And honestly, the first thing that came to my mind when I saw the interiors of the car were, wow, this is a good looking interior cabin. Now let's take a closer look at what's what, and the first thing that you'll notice is the quality of materials that have been used inside the cabin. You get double stitching on the dash, you've got this fantastic insert that makes it look premium, and everything is very well put together, synonymous to the quality that Jeep has always been known for offering. You also get this massive touchscreen infotainment system display in the center. That's the highlight of the cabin, and this has the latest generation software from Jeep. And this is a fantastic unit. The touch response is amazing. It's got all the features that you would want. The Compass now gets a 360-degree surround camera system, and that can be accessed from here as well. And other than that, what's really interesting is that the new Compass comes with wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay, and that's a feature that's so helpful that I cannot emphasize enough. Other than that, you also get a wireless charging pad, you get a USB-C port along with the regular USB port up here in the front, which is a very nice touch. And you've got all of your four-wheel drive controls and driving mode controls laid out in a different fashion here. The central tunnel is a lot more minimalistic than before, and as a result, again, it looks more premium. However, it's got these gloss black finishes, which can be a little bit of a troublesome thing to maintain over long periods of time. Nevertheless, it looks really nice. Now let's come to the instrument cluster, and this is an all digital display as well. Now having a digital instrument cluster in this segment isn't that big of an achievement. A lot of other cars have it too, but what's different here is that it gets this new design, which is again a lot more minimalistic, and as a result it looks really premium. It has got so many customizable faces that you can spend a very long time playing around with it. But what I personally like the most is this new 3-spoke steering wheel. This really does it for me. All in all, this is a fantastic place to be in. And it continues to be loaded with features as well. Apart from the ones mentioned, you also get things like a massive sunroof, powered tailgate, and 8-way electrically adjustable front seats with ventilation and memory function as well. Now coming to the rear seat of the Jeep Compass, well, not a lot has changed except for this new tunnel over here. This has the USB port, a 12-volt power socket and rear AC vents. That's new, but the seating comfort is well like before as well. But let's take a quick recap. Anyway, the driver's seat has been set as per my height. For reference, I'm 5'10", and you can see I have all the room that I could want. This place is best suited for 2 people, to be really honest. You can accommodate 3, but that's not going to be very comfortable. But having said that, let's get to the driving experience. And in this department, well, nothing has changed. And that's not a bad thing at all, because the Compass has already created a mark for itself in the driving department thanks to its confident driving experience and immense off-road capability. We drove the top-end S variant of the Compass that was powered by the 2-liter diesel engine with automatic transmission. We won't go much into details for this as it's the same as before, but in short, it's one of the best cars to drive around in its segment. So at the start of the video, I had mentioned how I felt that Jeep wants to add the word premium to the list of synonyms that describe the Jeep Compass. At the end of it all, I believe they have successfully managed to do so. Yes, the Compass is still an expensive car, there's no two ways about it, and that holds especially true for the top spec variant that we have driven today. However, the Compass now justifies its price tag way better than ever before. So if you've been pondering whether to go for the Jeep Compass SUV or not, well now your choice is a lot easier to make. Now let's talk about the world of gaming, and in that world ASUS has come out with a new laptop called the ROG Zephyrus M15. Now I'm really curious to know how that laptop is, so let's get straight to Shovik once again to find out more about the all-new ASUS laptop.
11th generation gaming processors in laptops from Intel are almost around the corner. But until then, what about the 10th generation? Is it still good enough? We've tried to find that out by using this particular laptop, the ASUS ROG Zephyrus M15, which features an Intel 10th generation Core i7 processor and the NVIDIA RTX 2070 Max Q edition with 8GB of graphics. Now, does such a laptop still hold relevance in today's gaming world? That's what we find out in our review of the ASUS ROG Zephyrus M15. Now, when it comes to the overall build and design of the ASUS ROG Zephyrus M15, the laptop is fairly uncomplicated and has a slightly plasticky build that you may or may not really prefer. However, the laptop does feel solid and is built in a very non-flashy way that is not typical of ASUS or its Republic of Gamers sub-brand or the world of gamers for that matter. One of the things that you'll really like is that the laptop is quite light and is not extremely heavy, which thankfully makes it portable enough, and that's something that gaming laptops have suffered from time to time. Now let's come to the talk of the hour, which is performance. Now the ASUS ROG Zephyrus M15 is powered by an Intel Core i7 10th generation processor with 16 gigs of RAM and the NVIDIA RTX 2070 Max Q, which is the laptop version of this graphics card. Now in terms of overall performance, as you would expect from such a configuration, daily performance is definitely pretty flawless and pretty smooth. You don't really need to worry about things like browser tabs being open too many or too many windows cluttering the desktop, and overall performance is as smooth as you can expect from a Windows laptop. When it comes to gaming, we've tried FIFA 21 and that runs in high settings at 60 FPS without much hassle. However, it does appear to struggle to pull off 4K gaming with this setup. We've also tried Cyberpunk 2077. Yet again, here we've restricted our gameplay to a certain level of graphics. We haven't gone to ultra, but in high graphics settings, the Zephyrus M15 does appear to pull off 4K gameplay on Cyberpunk 2077 pretty well. It is highly portable, it is not extremely heavy, and it offers good enough performance for most games to run at high settings if not ultra. However, the one big complaint that we have with this laptop is its use of a 16 ampere charging plug instead of the standard 6 ampere plug, which makes it difficult for you to find ports in accessible areas such as when you're sitting at a work desk. For instance, you might not have the AC plug really accessible from your work desk, or any 16 ampere plug for that matter around your sleeping area where you might just want to use the laptop for some time. That makes charging this laptop an irritating process, and that is something we just don't have an explanation for as to why ASUS decided to go with such a design decision. While the use of a 16 ampere plug does suggest that the power draw of the laptop is quite high, the overall efficiency does seem to be pretty well managed. The ASUS ROG Zephyrus M15 offers decent battery backup for a gaming laptop, and if you're not gaming on the go and if you want to just get some work done, you can put it on balanced or Windows mode, and that will extend your laptop's battery life to around 6ish hours, which is a pretty decent return for a gaming laptop of this nature. So finally, to sum up, should you buy a laptop that uses a 10th generation Intel processor and the Nvidia 20 series graphics such as this ROG Zephyrus M15 from ASUS? The answer is yes, you can. If you are not an extremely discerning gamer who wants that ultra high graphics setting, you can opt for a laptop like the ASUS Zephyrus M15, which is a good overall package and does offer good value for money even in terms of non-gaming usage. It is a laptop that seems to be reliable in terms of battery life, gaming performance, overall performance, and the overall ergonomics, and as a package that does the job for more people than just gamers.
Welcome back. You're watching the Tech and Auto Show. I'm your host Manav Sinha, and yes, the Bmw M340i is giving us company today for this episode. Now, if you're a regular watcher of the show, you know that we talk a lot about the future of automobiles, autonomous cars, electric cars, and everything in between. However, that future might not be on the roads at all. What I'm talking about is urban air mobility solutions, and India already has a couple of platforms up and running. One of them is called Blade India, and Archit Garg got hold of someone special to find out more about it. Take a look.
Urban air mobility. While this is quite a common form of transportation in the West, India is slowly getting a hang of it. And one company that has pioneered this form of transportation in India is Blade. Now we have with us Mr. Karan Pal Singh, who is the founder of Blade India, and we'll discuss with him the future of urban air mobility in the country.
Urban air mobility is a concept in which we connect inter and intra-cities through the air, making hours of travel into minutes of flights. It's a tech-enabled, digitally powered platform for urban air mobility. I think in India we have three major opportunities. One is, of course, leisure. Then we have the business travel. And then I think we have probably the largest religious travel market in the world. I mean, you give me 10,000 square feet and I'll create a vertiport out of it, and you can start flying from anywhere within the city to anywhere within the location. We are now in Maharashtra. We fly between Mumbai, Pune, Shirdi. We keep adding new locations. We just started Ambi Valley, and I think we are probably going to be expanding into different states, starting with Karnataka hopefully soon in the next quarter. Countries like the US, which are sort of a little more matured aviation markets, understand the value of this already. However, there were not too many people setting a platform. This was more personalized, this was more personal. What we want to do is sort of democratize it. What we want to do is sort of create a platform which allows everybody to sort of use this going forward. So maybe people understand this at a segment that have used it, who understand what time, money, efficiency, value is. And we see that once people start to use it, we have a repeat rate of 70%. That means people who fly with us understand that driving is not efficient, or their time is well spent at their homes, at their offices, at work. So I think as we go along, and as the prices, as the protocols, as the policy around it start to evolve, we are looking at this being short-haul aviation, urban air mobility being a reality much faster than we thought. Going forward, I think, really frankly, we see an application in this everywhere. We are launching Karnataka soon. We want to hopefully get in the North India really soon. There's an opportunity for us to connect offbeat travel locations to cities. I think that India is a huge market for this, and want to sort of roll this out in every city that has an issue with traffic, that has an issue with congestion. I think urban air mobility, while maybe looked at as a luxury today, is a necessity for tomorrow. The introduction of electric vertical takeoff and landing will really revolutionize this industry. What we are doing, what Blade is doing, is setting the base for us to fly vertically, whether they are helicopters today or eVTOLs tomorrow. As on one end people start to understand time, money, efficiency, and appreciate that, and on the other side eVTOLs making flying much cheaper and way more efficient, lesser sound, lesser emissions, cheaper to fly. I think the convergence of these two at some point is going to make mobility through the air, at least in short haul distances. I mean, for me to drive today between Mumbai and Pune could be anywhere between 4 and 8 hours versus a 30-minute flight, right? This is efficiency that eVTOLs are going to bring to the system.
And with that, we've come to the end of this edition of the Tech and Auto Show. How did you find the show? Is there anything you have to say, anything you want us to cover, or simply want to have a conversation with us? Well, reach out to us on Twitter. We are more than happy to talk. If it's about technology, you can reach out to us at News18 Tech. If it's about automobiles, tweet out to us at News18 Auto. And remember, by logging on to news18.com, you can read up more on both these industries, as well as the Bmw M340i that you see right here. Well, that's about all for today. I'll catch you same time next week, only on CNN News 18.